recording. Change title. I'm going to call this 3 houses tier list making. Let's rank cost tasks. Okay, so there's stuff we're not ranking cost tasks. So I'm just gonna turn this pick tier into not any. I guess. Okay. I guess we can start with the Black Eagles. Like I could make a straw poll what to start with, but whatever. We're just doing them all. So we're doing this house by house, I guess. So,
yeah, let's do it. We can do a poll of like which route, because I think each route kind of matters a little bit in terms of who's available, who's not.
Oh, I was thinking we just do all of them, but take turns. So like we start with the Black Eagles and then we save it and then we go to a different one.
Oh, Black Eagles first, just like the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The marketing worked on me subconsciously. Okay, so you're not available. As far as I know, you're not available. All these super deep and.
Oh, Mekkah, you should probably share your screen, by the way. It'd be helpful.
Yeah, I guess that would be helpful, wouldn't it? Let's see. Application window. Tier list. Is this easily visible for you guys?
Got it.
Okay. Good.
Got it. Good to go, as Sylvain would say.
Got it. Still good to go. Lonato, why the hell are you here? Costas, Thomas. I like how both Thomas is sold on our own here. Yuritsa, Solthis, Geralt, Rhea. I think that's it for unavailable. I guess we have, if we're doing Edelgard first, we have Claude.
Dimitri.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where he is. There he is. You do, and I mean, if we're doing like Crimson Flower, then I guess Hilda's unavailable, right?
Yeah, Hilda is unavailable if you go Crimson Flower.
Yeah, okay, so that's fair.
So I think
a lot of Zero's guys are too, right? Like,
yeah,
this guy
so Flane, Sedith are out. Flane and Sedith are out.
Yep. So that's easy. Eloise is out, right? You gotta like murder him and stuff.
Forgot.
No, Eloise you can recruit.
Oh,
pretty sure you can get Eloise actually.
Yeah, you can recruit Eloise.
Zero
like
definitely
Crimson Flower.
Nope. Later Rhea.
Gilbert definitely gone.
Catherine, same thing, alright?
Catherine definitely gone.
Yeah.
And Hanuman and Manuela, yes. Shamir, yes. Louise.
Okay, good.
I think we got everyone who's possible.
I'm gonna make it bigger in OBS. There's no reason to make it this small.
Yeah.
Just cut this off.
Okay. I think we have the pool.
Okay, I'm just trying to find a spot for this and then move my timer a bit. This is some real budget shit right here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So now all we gotta do is tier the rest. So I don't know how many tiers we should make yet. What I'm thinking is we just start with like the very, very best units, and then we just be like, okay, who's a tier below that, you know? So
yeah, I think
this is pretty logical.
Edelgard, Byleths.
And then
that's
like,
easy.
Does anyone else really qualify for that tier? Like, I feel like who's next best? I guess not really anyone,
That's
right? There's not really anyone who's like this good. I think.
Like
Felix, but you have to like recruit him, which hampers his ability a little bit, I guess. But he's still.
Petra might be like bottom end of it, but like.
Yeah, that's true.
Like bottom end of S tier, probably lead off A tier. Petra and Felix are very similar up there.
I mean, is Petra really similar to Felix? I feel like Felix is a lot more robust in a way. Like, I feel like he's.
Maybe.
I haven't checked their stats or anything, but I feel like Felix has more strength, right? This is for like, just. I don't know what to even qualify as the rules here. Like, this is not. I don't really want to make it like an LTC tier list because I haven't LTC'd this game at all extensively. But. Like,
What all are we considering? Are we considering what relic they get? Like, for instance, the Lorenz gets Thyrus, but I mean, honestly, you just put that on Lysipius.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like you just
it's
assume
more difficult to do it.
I feel like you just assume that whoever gets the Thystrus, like whoever wants to use it uses it, but then if you like don't have a relic or don't have a crest, then you take like a penalty. But if everyone has a crest, you can just use it whenever you want, right?
In a way, yeah. I haven't actually tested that staff in particular, but I'm pretty sure that one you do need the Gloucester crest.
Yeah, okay.
No, you don't. You can put it on anybody, because I've used it on Annette before.
Okay, but does Annette take damage when you use it?
No, she doesn't take damage. She has
because she has a crest. Yeah. Okay, never mind. That changes a lot of things.
So in that case, I feel like this is more like a resource that you can give to people, but it's not like guaranteed, and it's not like there's like an opportunity cost to it. Because if you can't just assume that everyone gets that this risk, because that's kind of unfair then. Like you only have
If anything,
one.
we almost want like an S+ tier of like Edelgard and Violet.
Yeah, well that's basically what this tier is. Like it doesn't matter what you call it; it's just a tier above the rest. It's about the gap between.
That's true.
Units. So
yeah, in terms of like sheer unit.
I feel more comfortable with Petra here personally. I don't feel like she's nearly as good as like female Bleth, or like
Petra won't solo the game, but
isn't this better anyway?
really,
female
really
Bleth, because she's like flies and stuff earlier.
Yeah, she can go into Pegasus Knight and
Sylvain and stuff.
I think Sylvain can make A tier just on the basis he is a free rootable unit. Lands of Ruin, such early access. Swiss Strikes as for A rank lances. Sylvain's ridiculous.
Sylvain's pretty strong, yeah.
I mean, isn't Swift Strikes basically just you double? That's like
you get a brave effect.
Yeah, I know, but like a lot of people double too. Like you don't. I mean, I guess you kill before the counter, but other than that, is it really better than just having off attack and doubling?
That's true. I mean, I think.
And you also can't use it on enemy phase. So.
That's a really good point.
If we're considering recruitment, we also need to consider that for male Byleth, it's a lot harder to get Sylvain than it is for female Byleth.
Yeah, that's why I have female left above him. But other than that, I don't think it makes enough of a difference to like change a whole lot of things.
Okay, so are we not considering recruitment then?
Well, it's more like it matters that you have to recruit these people, but I don't really want to like penalize Sylvain for male Byleth players or something. If that makes sense. Like I don't really want to penalize them for being harder to recruit. Is I guess the point.
It would make sense to put him further down on the A tier list because you do have to recruit him, whereas the other characters you just get.
Yeah, like it reduces his availability basically. But for Sylvain, he has the same availability practically pretty much. Yo, I got a donation, but my thing is not on top. Oh, there we go.
Linhardt definitely has some reason to be in A tier, just because he has warp and he has really early physic access.
There we go. Sorry, donation. Alan the Cavalier donated 3,776. Would you be interested in checking out the last prompts of first recruitments? I made it 6 or so months ago and have been curious about your thoughts ever since. That's what I thought it said. I'm sorry, I was a little late on reading it. Maybe at some point, yeah, I do want to like play the last promise normally at some point. So the first recruitment is like something else. It's like super niche, so I couldn't really do it as a let's play, but it does seem fun to check out sometime. But there's a long list of things I want to check out sometime, like a long list. So that doesn't really mean anything when I say that. Alright, well, chat is just going off on their own discussion. I'm fine with like putting Sylvain in A tier for now. I don't think he's better than Petra, but
I don't think he's better than Petra either.
Like, does he double reliably without the Swift Strikes?
Dependent on speed
he's
level.
spotty. It really depends on how lucky you are.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
I mean, this game's I guess is like all over the place, so no reason to find it out, I guess.
I would put Felix in A because even like in terms of recruiting, for anybody he's really easy because he just needs sword rank and strength.
Speed or strength.
Speed.
Yeah, speed.
It's speed and strength, one of the two.
Isn't B support still faster and like easier? Just spamming him with gifts for 2 monasteries.
It is.
I guess it helps if you don't have to gift spam him if you really don't want to. Who's on the mic? We got Heliosan right now and Ryn, my designer.
Hi.
And me.
Hello there. Oh, and we passed 12 hours, by the way.
Yeah, we got the halfway mark done. That's cool.
Hey.
That's cool. So
I would say Lysithea also belongs in A.
I guess so.
Yeah. I do think that if you don't recruit Lysithea in part, it does feel considerably worse.
Yeah, but since we're like assuming that Felix is recruiting in part,
Golden tier Lysithea.
Like, gift spam is easy enough to like. I don't know how many students you can realistically recruit with gift spam, but I think it's pretty much all of them in any reasonable playthrough. I don't even know if we're talking. We're talking new game, I guess, if I have to say it. I'm sorry, I can't read full arguments anywhere. Like, I'm busy enough talking to my co-hosts, so I can't even read all of the chat. But I do appreciate all the inputs.
I wouldn't consider New Game Plus. I would consider it like a regular game.
Yeah.
Because you can buy supports with people in New Game Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it really
New Game
easy.
Plus kind of does break things a lot.
I don't really like New Game Plus as a thing. This is like for hard mode, not for maddening mode, obviously. Because maddening mode we don't really know anything about yet. So for hard mode, I think it's fair to just assume new game, make it as hard as possible, other than doing maddening mode.
I would also put, I think Mercedes and Linhardt both fit in A tier just because both get physic really early. Fortify on Mercedes is really good. Warp also for Linhardt, and Lysithea gets Warp too.
Yeah, I like Linhardt here. Fortify, I'm less super hyped about, but I still find it fairly useful in the blue line, so I'm fine with putting them in here. They're alright. Good enough. Anyone else who's like this good? Some people say Leone and Ash in the chat.
Yeah.
I would say Leone is as good as Sylvain, to be honest.
You think Leone is as good as Sylvain?
They're
in my
both
opinion.
pretty strong units out of the box.
I mean,
my Leone sucked, so I can't really put a whole lot of it. But if I made her Pegasus Knight, she would have been much better. I feel like she had like would have more speed and flying, which is really good.
If you're comparing units in each house, they all kind of fall under an archetype, and Leone and Sylvain kind of fall under the same archetype as like
hot-headed cavalier.
Yeah, and they both like their speed growth can be spotty, but their strength growth is normally really good.
Feels like if she goes Pegasus Knight, her speed is fine.
Yeah, but assuming you put her in a cavalier, which most people do on their first playthrough.
You do, but I'm not assuming you're playing blindly. I'm assuming you pick like the best.
That's true. Okay.
And so for Leone, she has a pretty easy path through Pegasus, I think, which is like the best class for anyone. But that's not like a magical guy.
I would say she definitely belongs in A tier.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who has a really easy path to Wyvern and has like decent enough stats belongs here, to be honest. Maybe in B tier for like the worst ones, but like Petra, for example, is like the easiest path ever. But even Felix, he's not particularly good at anything Wyvern related, but I recruited him late and I still got him to Wyvern pretty easily. So I think that shows that pretty much any unit with reasonable stats can be here.
And I mean, Felix out of the box is also a ridiculous unit.
Yeah, he's really powerful.
Yeah, I think, let's see. So here's another interesting one. So people seem to underrate Hubert a lot, which is pretty interesting. I generally find him to hit pretty hard in general. Like he's kind of like basically Black Eagle's version of Lysithea before you get her. I mean, he is a little different. I don't know. I personally like him a lot as a Dark Knight, where he can just use his ridiculous movement to then just blast people with spells, and he generally does one-shot people a lot from my experience, at least. As far as where he fits, I think it's close between A or B tier, but I think availability does help him a lot in this playthrough.
I don't really like him for A tier. It doesn't seem like he can't fly for one, which kind of sucks. Well, you can make him fire, but it's like it's going to be worse than everyone else in one, right?
I don't really have any experience with Hubert, but what sucks about any type of like male, aside from Linhardt because he's really meant to be a healer, but any type of male mage unit is that if you put them in Dark Knight, it halves their magic uses, and then it also decreases their speed growth. But I don't know if Hubert's fast already, so if he's not fast, it really won't matter to begin with.
From what I've seen, he's fairly slow to the point where he won't double rely. And he also does one shot. So
interesting. I've had mine one shots. Then again, it's only playthrough. We probably need to do some more data.
I mean, maybe Mangs' Hubert, because that's the one I'm going off. Didn't have Fiendish Blow. Didn't spend enough time in Mage or something. Maybe that's the problem
here. That's another problem.
But he also can't use Faith Magic. Well, he can, but he's got a weakness in it, which makes him less versatile than the other magic users in here, which is why I feel like he's a good bit worse. He does have 3 range. 3 range is really nice.
Hubert leading off B tier is fine, in my opinion.
I would agree.
I'll just put him here for now.
He's probably you can argue that, and he has some probably tier.
Some people are saying Dorothea's A tier because she has, I don't even remember, Meteor or something. I don't know.
Dorothea is A tier if you put her as a dancer. That's weird. I mean, she's meant to be a dancer.
That's true.
I think she's probably the best dancer in the game.
Definitely, because I mean, yeah. I made Marianne my dancer, but I didn't recruit Dorothea in my Blue Lions playthrough, so.
I guess Dancer helps. I feel like Dancer is just another one of those resources that you can use on your units if you want to, but just assuming like she goes here because she's a dancer is like not really fair, because literally anyone can be a dancer if that's really good. I feel like literally anyone could use dancer. Like I could take like Anna or whatever and be like, okay, this is your dancer, just put her in A tier, you know? I feel like that's more fair way to judge it.
That's what I'm saying. The only like I don't really see Dorothea as a viable unit compared to other like mages unless you put her as a dancer.
Yeah, and also just if she's not a dancer, she doesn't seem that great to me, because she like what's the problem with her again? I feel like she was very fragile early on, and then as the game went on, it was like less of a problem, but still significant. Just like staff utility, but I would also like about Dancer Dorothea is Dorothea, is that she's always she always has something good to do when she's far away from enemies, like she can meteor or physic or something. And then when you make her a dancer, it's like a giant waste of it. You're either wasting your dance or a long range tongue use or something. This song is Omega Ruby and Alpha.
I made Marianne a dancer because she gets the relic, and the relic's a sword. So when a dancer has a sword equipped, they get plus 20 aggro, or plus 10. I don't remember.
I don't know. I think I'm more.
Dorothea probably B tier is okay, also okay.
But Dorothea also gets plus 20 aggro from white magic. So gets the dancer thing with its plus 20 aggro from swords. So it's like she's kind of covered in both spots.
It's alright.
It helps in theory, but I think
it depends on like how good her offense is. Like if you can patch up her defenses, that's nice. But if she's still not good in offense, then what's the point of having her survive a couple of hits or like dodge a couple of blows? I feel like if you'd rather have an enemy go for one of your other units, then there's not much of a point in patching up her defensive weaknesses, because her offense is probably worse. Like, people say exposing your dancer is a bad idea, but in this game I think that's like not really a guarantee to be true, because you can make like literally anyone a dancer and even people with good offense, but you generally shouldn't. You generally should.
Yeah, I think Dorothea, I've used her as a grammar, and she seemed to do pretty fine. I wouldn't say she was Lysithea level broken in terms of just obliterating things, but I found whenever like enemies clump up together, Meteor was actually pretty helpful in a few of those situations. An extra physic option is good. And Thoron, she gets Thoron pretty early on, such that it adds a 3-range option that otherwise wouldn't be available, and she adds more help for linked attacks and gambits in like the early mid game. I mean, I wouldn't say she's like kind of in a strange spot, like upper end B tier, lower end A tier, kind of really centered up the Gremory route or dancer. Go on.
We put Hubert in B. Is as an overall unit, like in terms of whatever you class her as, is she better than Hubert?
Oh, good question. I mean, they provide different. I think they provide different things. That's the only thing.
I think Dorothea has more.
Hubert does the nuking a little bit,
she can use stabs,
but he doesn't bring much utility. Whereas Dorothea doesn't do the nuking as well, but then brings the utility. So it's like, I guess you can put both of them right where they're at right. Come back to.
I'll just leave them here for now. They seem okay.
Okay.
Ingrid. How about Ingrid?
And people complain about her strength, but she's still like easy flyer ever. Like, this is the Black Eagle's house, but you can just recruit her and you have a flyer. That's super good.
And you can get her pretty easily too.
Yeah.
The fact that you can dismount her from being a flyer, makes her really fun too.
Yeah, that makes like every flyer good, of course. But she has the easiest path to like Falcon Knight or Wyvern, whatever you want. Like, people complain about her strength, but I mean, it's kind of annoying to get Death Blow on her to like fix that strength, so that can be a bit of an issue, but I think at some point you get like the Brave Lance and it's basically not an issue anymore. I don't mind Ingrid here somewhere. I don't know where, but whatever, we'll just put it here for now. What about Ash? He's a pretty like easy flyer too as well, because he has like talents and all the good things. He's like a hidden talent in Lances or Axes, I think, and then he has like he has a talent for flying, I'm pretty sure.
He becomes budget Claude. You can kind of think.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
he does become budget Claude. He could get strength screwed. Him and Ingrid, both of them can. If they get screwed in strength, then it does become pretty rough. But I don't know. Sending them up the Brigand, Wyvern Lord route seemed to make them turn out just fine. I mean, they didn't differentiate themselves much over Petra and Felix. I thought they weren't as good, but
okay, he's hidden talent for lances and he's talented in axes, bows, and not really in flying, but you can get him there, I guess. So I was kind of wrong, but I still think he's good enough for this.
I think
maybe the bottom end of it, though.
I think Ash fits bottom end A tier off of B tier. I still feel like Hubert is a little bit better though.
The difference between Ash and Ingrid is he normally has like 10 speed on him at equal level and similar class progression. True, Ash is not C tier. Oh, people get mad now. Not A, B.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't. He is lower than Hubert.
Alright, fine. Hold lower him down.
I think high B is fine.
Fine. Bro, it's the Black Eagles.
I think people are hating on Ash a little too much. I think he's really good, but
It's Black Eagles, guys. It's not Blue Lions.
That's true.
But I don't know what that means for Ash. Like, I don't know what he gets auto-trained in if you recruit him late. Like, I did it, actually.
that's true. Oh shoot, hang on. A little story element too. I think he and a couple of spots. Oh no. For Cruiser and Flower Route, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
In other routes, it does. Forgot about that.
So
where do
Ferdinand,
you put Ferdinand von Eyre?
I would say if you're gonna put Sylvain where he is, Ferdinand's. I mean, he's really good too.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
don't know,
used
it's-
this unit long term, so I can't really speak.
In my
I know what
experience,
Mangus did, but he
Ferdinand
got
is
screwed so badly that it's really not
Hit or
representative.
miss, but
My Ingrid got speed screwed coincidentally. For the longest time, my Dedue
Speed
had more.
screwed?
Yes, my Dedue had more speed than my Ingrid,
that's pretty incredible.
and Dedue has like 10% speed growth. I was like, okay. He has his base stats of like 2 speed. I don't remember. That's probably not right, but
They
I was
just
really
look-
sad.
Caleb raises a
think-
good point.
Ferdinand and Sylvain are pretty similar.
Good point.
Switching is a
There we
good
go.
point.
It's perfect. You put Lorenz up there too.
No.
That's all we need. Nah, just kidding. Put him back here. Get back here, guy. That row is for nobles only.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, maybe
Wait, where'd Ferdinand go? Ah, there it is.
it's tough to rank.
I don't know. Chat, what do you think? B or A? I'm a B. That's right, he's a B. He's a B. Dorothea says he's a B, so he's a B. That's it. End of discussion.
You can put them next to each other.
Oh yeah, good point. I ship it. He's a B.
All right, next B, Bernadetta.
Next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
Nah, just kidding. I don't know. Is she bad? I don't think she's like
I got-
horrendous, but like.
I
Got-
recruited her, and I actually got a really good Bernadetta. I think I honestly got really lucky with Bernadetta.
Yeah, I think
I kind of like
I
the idea of
had-
Sniper Bow Knight Bernadetta the most personally. Makes it easiest to use
Look
as
at-
a skill.
I put her in Bow Knight, and I think that
Super
really made
cringe.
her suffer. Because I think she has like a 60% speed growth, and her strength growth is, I think, 35%.
it's pretty
Um,
bad.
I think people trip over
I mean,
her strength growth a bit too much because she has such a good personal skill that her strength generally just ends up being.
Yeah, it's in terms of all of their character growths, 35% is kind of average. It's a little below average if you consider 40% average.
I think
and-
okay.
Like, it really depends on what class you put her in, because if you put her in Cavalier, it kind of makes her bad because her strength goes down or her speed goes down. But if you put her in Pegasus Knight, she's a viable Pegasus Knight. She's kind of like another Ingrid, but she doesn't have the affinity for Pegasus Knights. Whereas I think she has affinity for writing.
She does have she has a hidden talent for writing, and then
Yeah, that's
she
what
gets
I
passed
meant.
that way. Let me check if she's actually
Yeah,
before that.
she does have. She's good for chipping early mid game.
She doesn't even have weakness in writing. She's weak in all the things you don't care about, so like swords,
Yeah,
axes.
I think.
She's
Bernie
also
is
good
a
at
little
lances,
bit
so you can make Pegasus
tough.
Knight happen. Yeah, I feel like Bow Knight is the most straightforward way to go with her. The Cavalier class kind of sucks for her though, so you kind of want to like maybe go Sniper and then train Riding and then go Bow Knight or something.
She
If
really
we're
needs
talking-
strength somehow. That's the only problem.
If we're talking about optimally playing 3 houses, though, I don't think it's optimal to put her in Bow Knight.
Really?
You want to have
Because
like
it makes
pass
her-
and rescue then or something?
It makes, I mean, it really makes her speed like she just does not become optimal.
Okay, but she's not an optimal
Interesting.
unit to begin with.
She actually
Yeah.
did really
I feel
well
like
for me.
if you have managed to get a Bow Knight Bernadetta, she can like contribute without getting in your way at all, which is pretty optimal.
That's true. I mean, Bow Knights, their jobs are often ship or to take out problematic fly.
She can go assassin, but her sword weakness is kind of ass. I'm just gonna put it as C because I don't think we agreed she should be here, so I think we should put it here.
No, yeah, I don't think so. It's really
Yeah, I
hard
think-
to rate these people because you can put them in so many different classes.
Yeah, I generally just say like, okay, you could become a Wyvern Lord. No, okay, then what's your next best option, and then we'll go from there. But it's so hard to like project how people are gonna do in battle because everyone's like, well, my Bernadetta was this, my Bernadetta was that, and I'm like, yeah, but I mean, there's so much variety in this game and so many different things, different ways it could go depending on what path you pick and what you tutor. It's almost like it matters more what the player does with the character than what the game gives you on the character.
I think Bernie and Ash are
Mhm.
very similar way, albeit I think Ash has an easier path to Wyvern, whereas
Yeah.
Bernie's path is mainly towards Bow Knight, and they contribute a little differently. Both can have similar problems in the strength department, but both come with strength and bows, so should contribute in that regard. So maybe put them next to each other, but it's kind of
So do you want him in B or C?
probably bottom end of B. I think that's where I would put Bernie.
All right. Chat is not gonna like it. Everyone in chat wanted C for cringe.
I mean, sure. I guess we can leave. I mean, top end of C and then Ash bottom B. I guess they're right next to each other.
Alright. And then I've never recruited her or used her, but apparently she's just a rally bot. I feel like this is. Apparently people can one-shot stuff with her. I haven't had it happen yet. I made her my dancer, so I don't really have room to talk about
at all.
She's like fucking weird. It's the weirdest set of talents I've ever seen on a unit. It's like.
And that is really strange. But then
like
again,
axes and then reason and then authority.
Magic.
Annette's relic is an axe. It's a magic axe.
Okay, but that's like post time
So
skip,
that's-
right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's first time skip. But there's also I think all bolt axes
And
are
you
also
only get
first
it
time
for Blue
skip.
Lions, I think.
But her you do because you get it from Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like you don't really need to train her axe rank up hardly at all because almost all relics start with E rank. So it doesn't really matter. The problem with her lies in the fact that she's not very fast. So if you equip her, with a bolt,
I need to read this chat passage. I'm sorry, Mekkah. The same people who say they have a one-shotting Bernadetta are the same ones saying Walt is good if you train him.
Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like Bernadetta's strength is a fair bit better than anyone else, and Walt especially if you just take her personal skill into account.
Walt is a pretty horrible. Walt is more like Ignaz.
Walt has no stats. Period. Okay, so can we
But
just?
then again, Ignaz is.
Do we put her just here for a rally utility, or is she like a worthwhile unit to like?
I don't know.
Her rally's pretty good. I mean, strength and resistance is kind of nice.
Yeah. So do you just is the optimal way to use Annette just not training her, just rallying?
Yeah, and that's really I haven't figured out how to get it to work.
Oh,
I mean, I had a pretty functioning Annette. I mean, she did learn heal, I think, and then you can also put like one of the +1 like range staffs on her, and that helps her a lot in terms of like she's good chipping damage. I think she's not gonna one-shot. I have Annette often more times leaving them at like 2 HP as opposed to.
God damn! The only slower growth-wise, the only slower blue line is to do compared to Annette. That's ridiculous. That's kind of funny in a way. What about bases? I bet she's like on the Andor half too. But she's actually tied for one of the slowest blue lines. That's pretty funny.
It's
She's
pretty
slow
funny.
as fuck. Okay.
Well, where should we put Marianne?
Well, she's a pretty average.
I'm really biased on Marianne, so
She's good at physics, and that's about it.
I made her a dancer, and she was a
like-
really good dancer.
like, easier access to Holy Knight, I guess, right? Because she can.
Yeah.
And Lance talent as well.
That cuts her magic in half, though.
And apparently people like Frozen Lance a lot on her because it one-shot stuff. But that's pretty late, I feel like, when it one-shot stuff. But I don't know. Like I don't know. I only used her. I only got her binding talent like pretty late into the game when I was like bored when tutoring. But apparently it's like okay. A fantastic dancer, yeah, that's great. I actually don't really like. Why would you want your physic user to be a dancer? Okay, I get it because you want because they're not gonna be far away, I guess. But
in Blue Lions, you get Mercedes too, though, and she's a physic dancer or she's a physic user.
okay, but we're talking Black Eagles right now.
That's true. I don't know. I'm like
So like, how good is Marianne if you recruit her to the Black Eagles?
compared to Linhart? Probably C.
She's like doesn't do much more than Linhart other than add much.
Okay, but does she do more than I don't know Hubert? Because that's really who we care about.
No, I think
In terms of
Hubert
damage,
is still
no.
way more useful than Marianne. So I would say Marianne probably fits C tier.
Yeah, I would put her in C tier.
Okay, I haven't really done much thought on the ordering within the tiers. I'm just putting people in the right tiers, which is already like ridiculous. Silence, I haven't found Silence too great, but it's like situationally useful, I guess. She does get it pretty early, which is funny. Like this one time, I like silenced the random mage, and instead he just used the Gambit on me. I was like, "Fuck, you got me, buddy." All right, Lawrence, I haven't really recruited him over to any house whatsoever. I just used him on my own
Lawrence.
thing. I feel like he's like
He's He's
Could be.
interesting because his base stats, I'm pretty sure, like his strength and magic are about the same, and then his growth rates are exactly the same in terms of like strength and magic.
Yeah, but then I don't know. It's the really big difference between magical Lorenz and physical Lorenz. Like Jesus Christ.
I see most people put him in physical. I don't really know. I don't really like Lorenz in terms of a unit. But I guess if you're considering his utility in terms of like, oh, okay, you get Thrysis, he's good.
He's it's just for me. He's like kind of okay at everything in terms of being a cavalier or a mage path, and I don't know. It's kind of tough to. he's a bit tougher rank because
Yeah.
like I haven't tried him as much on the mage route. I think when Mekkah, when you were playing with friends and you swapped to mage, he obviously performed a lot better, but he does definitely get overshadowed by almost every other mage in the game.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember.
I feel like if you don't have a city on your
Metal.
team, he becomes a lot better. So it's like really dependent on the Thesaurus in that way, because in order to use the Thesaurus, you don't need you only need. Do you need a crest to use it without taking damage? I asked this earlier, but I already forgot because I'm getting.
You need a crest to use it without taking damage. It's so Thrysis has the secondary effect Pavis, and only only Lysithian Lorenz can use that.
So unless you're like a commoner, you're not going to take damage from it, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes. Or like maybe you were, I guess. So. But I guess the Pavis thing is really nice. I don't know. I feel like we're talking Black Eagles, so it's not a guarantee that we'll have Lysithia pre-time skip, but I guess it's kind of like a guarantee we'll have her post-time skip because she's like an auto recruit. So in that way, the competition for Thesaurus is like pretty tight after that. But before that,
I do think Thrysis is a pretty important component at the same time, and that's only obtainable in. So it is kind of tough here. That's why I'm having a hard time.
I recruit Lorenz just to get the relic. I don't use him otherwise.
I'm streaming with Heliosan and Ryn.
Hi.
Go there.
Ryn is a designer. Heliosan is a guy, a friend guy.
There. Yes. Yeah, Lorenz, I think he kind of does fit in C tier. I kind of agree with the chat. I think C tier is just because he's not overtly spectacular and is kind of outclassed by other people, but he's important for getting an item.
I would say high C tier. I wouldn't put him in B tier because his only important.
I don't think he's B tier, but I don't think he's definitely not D tier. So I think C, which therefore C tier. Lead off C tier or upper is fine.
This guy is pretty garbo.
Oh, Raphael.
That speed is so bad. Although quick riposte is apparently really broken, but that takes a long ass time to get.
It takes a long time to get there.
Gauntlets on him. And I think he has a really high strength, doesn't he?
He does, but like, does that then two-shot stuff? Because from what I remember,
Gauntlets, it's debatable because gauntlets have a very low might.
Yeah, they do. Like I used Raphael in my Golden Deer, obviously, and it took a long time before I started two-shotting shit. Best dancer.
Didn't you make him your dancer?
No, that was what Banks did. I just made him a war master.
Okay, yeah, I was like, somebody did that.
No, my dancer was Ignatz.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I forced him through it. He didn't like it. Even though it's art. Fuck you, Ignatz. It's art. I've been awake for 12 hours, guys. So
I don't know where
I think like
Raphael, to be honest.
I want to say C tier, honestly. I don't really think he's that great. That's my Golden Deer impression. I haven't like recruited him to Black Eagles. And Max made him a dancer, so that's like a completely different thing. People say D. Calm down. That speed is so ridiculous, though. Yeah, that speed is ridiculously bad. So maybe he should be D. Is he that worse? Is he that bad? Better than Gilbert, I guess.
Gilbert has like 2 speed by the end of my Blue Lions playthrough.
The thing is, the only way he fits here, if you can argue that these 3 people are significantly better than he is, which I can see for these 2 because they're like they're like they have utility. Yeah, they don't even need to be good at combat to be like not failures. Lorenz, he can be good at combat. I feel like as a mage he was good enough to be C tier at the very least. So
I feel like Lorenz is justifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Lorenz, interesting. He does get rocket beam. I didn't notice that. Interesting. Ragnarok is 15 might for what it's worth.
Yeah, It's I don't remember it one-shotting too much, but it's nice for like chipping, like adding damage to monster battles and stuff. I almost forgot about the Friday stream. It's basically a Saturday stream now. Don't tell me it's Friday.
Yeah.
It's not. It is actually Saturday. It's
so
Saturday
what about
morning,
Ignace?
9:30 for me. 9:30 in the morning.
It is 3:30 in the morning for me.
Wait, what in the morning? 3 in the morning?
Yes.
Why are you not sleepy yet? Jesus Christ! You've been with this. You've been hanging out since like hour 2 or 3 or something. It's insane.
I have a I'm a college student. That's why.
Sounds about right.
I can't. There's no other way to explain it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Alright, people saying Ignaz is C. A lot of people say like you mage Ignaz. I did answer, so I have no like waited. He's like a good rally bot at the very least. So I think at least he's as good as Annette is, at the very least, because the rally speed is pretty good. And then I feel like the talents kind of suggest like assassin to me, but assassin's kind of garbage. So maybe reason is the way to go. But I don't find mages to be all that good to begin with. Like if you have to unlock a hidden talent just to become like kind of like the Wrens, you know, that kind of low. Although the speed is much better, so that's makes it different. But the speed is so bad. And the movement is so bad on mages. It's such a bad class to like go through. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know. Ignat's kind of.
But relatively, this is not maddening, by the way. This is just hard mode, new game, Black Eagles.
So what about Kaspar?
Kaspar, I mean, I'm very similar right now because he is some hard garbage on maddening. I feel like he does shit for damage, absolutely. I mean, I do remember on
we're not doing it based off maddening.
Yeah, but I remember on Mangs' playthrough, he was pretty good in the end. Actually, there was some point where he became like, I think it was like either War Master or maybe Grappler, where he just really came into his own and started one-rounding things with like ease. He's got like his bases are not great, but he's got the growth to like get out of it. Everyone is A and B in hard mode, yeah. In a way, you can't use anyone. That's not the point of a tier list. The point of a tier list is to show distinctions between units. But maybe units are just too similar to like do this kind of a thing on hard mode. But there's no point in making a maddening tier list because we haven't finished maddening yet. There's no point. The bow weakness, is it annoying? I guess it can be a little bit annoying, but it doesn't really stop him from becoming an okay War Master. Either C or D. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's on the lower end. Doesn't really have anything. Yeah.
I would put him at least like C tier. At least C tier. I wouldn't put him in D tier. I don't think he's like Raphael level.
He's a lot faster than Raphael is.
He is.
Our beat grows. You say that, but at the same time, this game, no one really has good bases. So it's like if you look at the base stats of, for example, all the Black Eagles, they all have 6, 7. They're very close in speed. Only Petra really sticks out with 10 speed. Everyone else is like pretty much 6, 7, or 8 basically, and like that doesn't really change too much for doubling. So growths are a bit more important than most environments. Like if this was more like if the promotion bonuses were bigger, like if the class bases of things you promote into were like bigger, then they'd matter more. But as decided, usually when you promote, you still don't get any stats to begin with. So I feel like generally the leading factor is just how good they are at certain points in the game through like their averages, and that usually involves their growths, not as much as their bases.
I think Kaspar is another really good example of it really depends on what class you put him in, because the like additional like growth rates you get from each class I really think it does help a lot in terms of like especially if a unit has lower growth rates than the rest of them.
I don't know, I kind of disagree.
Kaspar and Raphael can both become Wyverns too, by the way.
Which is also a really big benefit because I mean flyers in this game are just insane.
Let me check his talents real quick.
Wait.
Skill levels. Kaspar
has 45% speed and strength growth, which is above average, and that's decent in terms of, I don't know, assuming 40 is like the regular average like growth rate standard in this game.
He's only good at axes and brawling, which is kind of unfortunate, but I guess he can become a Wyvern.
Well, does he dislike well, yeah, no, I think for
he doesn't
Wyvern,
dislike
does he
anything
dislike
that you need to become a Wyvern. He just dislike. He has like a weakness in authority, reason, and bows, which is all like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'd be a very perfectly viable Wyvern rider. I would put him in at least C tier.
Yeah, I feel like sure you can salvage anyone with Wyvern, sure, but at the same time, some people have an easier path than others.
He can use it because of his speed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe C tier for them,
Not this
probably.
doo-doo, not to be confused with the do. Yeah, I agree that the stat modifiers between classes are more important. I agree with that, but I mean for that we'd have to like compare Wyvern Lord stats differences of Kaspar to like I don't know what I'm even saying. I'm half away.
Well, it's kind of like almost every Cavalier class, aside from the very top tier ones that you're considering putting like a really slow unit in, kind of sucks because it takes
Yes.
like 10%
Yeah.
of growth rates out of any character.
Well, not just the growth rate, but like just suffering from the speed penalty as a Cavalier is garbage, and then like.
I feel like, I will say this, I feel like Kaspar is better than Bernadetta.
I could see that depending on what you want to get out of a unit, because Bernadetta is like free chip for most of the game if you want it. But then again, unit slots come at a premium at some point. You don't really have room for like a chip monster.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. So
but
I don't think Kaspar's good enough for B tier, so maybe Bernadetta should just move down to C tier.
Yeah, Bernadetta, we can move her down, I think.
Bernadetta does have all the unique perks though. That's a good point. So
her crest is really nice. I've had Bernadetta's crest proc a lot. I mean, but that's my experience.
I don't remember the odds, but I think what sells Bernadetta really is more like pass and the option of risk Q staff. Yeah, don't worry too much about like top and bottom of a tier, because ordering within tiers is like even messier than even just putting people into different tiers.
Oh, we're trying to get through all of the houses, so
yeah, we're just doing this as long as we're having fun. Like to be honest, for most lists they're gonna be very similar in a sense, because the only difference is like you have to recruit some of the units, but it doesn't really change them too much. Like, does Felix go down a tier, or like not Felix? Does Felix go like? I guess Felix is like S tier in Blue Lions maybe because he's like more available. But those are like kind of minor changes. It doesn't really make Bernadetta great or anything if she suddenly in a different house or something.
I think. How about Hanneman and Manuel?
Vanguard, we're just having fun discussing it. All right. Don't worry.
I did not use any of them. I never used a single one of like the actual.
I mean, these 4 left over guys. You mean?
I can't. I can give you like growth rates on them.
She was kind of.
I think Shamir probably is B tier, probably B or maybe.
Shamir
B?
is so garbo until she gets Bow Knight in part 2. But other than that, I was pretty happy with her. I don't know. I guess B is okay for her. I'm not like.
I think Shamir fits B just fine. She does fall off, but I think.
Yeah.
Let me think.
Yeah, Hanuman's like really slow. Really, he has like a fun spell list, I think, with like Meteor and stuff and like High Magic, but that's really all he's got going for him.
Oh, that's true, man. Manuela can warp, so that's really helpful on her.
Yeah.
She does, but the range is really. I don't know. I
have seen the range is very bad.
A little bit of range is all you need to be like somewhat useful, but at the same time, it feels weird to have Manuela this high up over like people with actual combat potential. Manuela's a pretty okay spell list, but a lot of other problems. That's basically Manuela's character in a nutshell. Oh, Manuela's bolting. That's kind of cool.
She comes onto the battlefield drunk as crap.
D cup and D tier.
Yeah.
Accidentally, like physically, accidentally heals one of the enemy units.
I don't know. I'm fine with like a warper leading this C tier or something. I don't know. Warp is tough to rate. Bad at reason, yeah. Because Manuela's a very
the range
person.
I found the range to just be.
I mean, so we can also consider. Does Linhart have warp? Because I don't know.
Yeah,
he does.
He does. Yeah.
He does.
So, I mean, considering that, I would put her in C tier.
What's different with Linhart is available earlier. The availability is in Linhart's favor. I personally have found his magic disappointing. I wouldn't say it was the greatest, but I think Linhart is like pretty much your primary sustain your parts of the game. I think Linhart, that's that differentiates him from Manuela. Manuela doesn't do much more than what he's already doing, and I've never found her warp to be any good.
Yeah.
So I think D tier for C or D tier for Manuela makes sense. Hanneman is also
memes.
Memes. Alois, I don't know.
All I know about Wally is what he does in his paralog. I don't know that I've never used the guy. I just know he's like a lot of strength, a lot of HP, and rally luck or something.
His like base class gives him his class gives him like 40% HP growth.
Oh, and keep in mind that Manuela, so
Manuela
that
does
also knocks her. Does not.
You were cut out for a moment by probably Discord issues. What did you say? Manuela's also?
Manuela doesn't get physic either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's really
her.
annoying with
But the range would
Manuela.
probably suck anyway.
Rip Manuela.
Eloise B tier. Okay, chat. What do you think about Eloise? Let me know. Because I don't think any of us have really used him long term. He's pretty good. B tier. All right. I think he's like weak in flying, which like sucks for
D for
Wyvern
dad.
fast, but probably do something.
B for brother.
Basically the same as Kaspar. Okay. Very easy to take into Wyvern. Oh, okay. Color me surprised. Aren't you like bad at he's bad at flying, but hey, if they say so, then it should be alright. He's like talented in lances and axes, which helps, I guess. Okay, whatever. We'll just put him above Kaspar. Like I don't know, put him here. All right. So that is a Black Eagles list. It's let me tell you right now, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Like tier in this game is so stupid because literally anyone can do anything. So you're like comparing apples to oranges all the time.
It's also decided by like 3 different people who have probably very vast like experiences in 3 houses and play very differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean,
it's a definitive list. Everyone take it super seriously. Take it super serious. All right, let me
exactly. This is fact.
All right. So let me take a screenshot. I guess save it somewhere. I don't know where. I'll just put it in my 24-hour stream thing. Black Eagles tier lists.
Crimson Flower, to be more specific.
Oh yeah, Crimson Flower. That's right. Crimson Flower. I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna make another 3 right now.